Hi, this is Dr. Sana Hashmi. This week in my Print's Eye on China column, I analyze the two sessions that are being convened in Beijing, the 14th National People's Congress and the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference. So the Chinese Premier Li Qiang presented his first government work report detailing the trajectory of economic, defense, foreign, and social policies, and how will it look like this year. So this year, the atmosphere within the NPC seemed very low-key, and even Premier's customary press conference was cancelled this time. So that was the first time that the press conference of the Premier was cancelled, at least since the early 1990s. What are my major takeaways from the two sessions? So the focus is naturally on dealing with the growing economic challenges, and Lee attributed the source of these challenges to the COVID-19 pandemic, the 3 years of the pandemic. As expected, there was ample emphasis on initiatives aimed at economic recovery of the country. Lee also highlighted that there is at least 5.5% employment rate in the country right now. And he mentioned that there are efforts by the government that have been underway to generate more employment, and he announced that at least 12 million urban jobs will be generated this year. In 2023, China achieved a GDP growth rate of 5.2%, and it is forecasted that China will sustain a similar rate this year as well. However, there have been debates regarding the feasibility of achievement of this same growth rate, particularly given this year the economy has been sluggish, and this would definitely make the achievement of this growth rate very ambitious. There were also attempts to pacify the foreign investors, foreign businesses operating in China, especially when in February we saw there was an announcement by the Chinese Ministry of Commerce that there was a decline in foreign direct investment. So the premier underscored that China is committed to foster a stable, transparent, and predictable policy environment for foreign businesses so that more and more businesses come to China and contribute to economic recovery of the country. But another important takeaway was about the continued increase in defense spending. And this is interesting because China is going through so much, there are so many economic challenges, but despite that, we saw that there has been a continued emphasis on defense spending. And it was announced that China will boost its defense budget by 7.2% this year. And the defense budget will increase to 1.4 billion US dollars, and the last year's figures was 2 to 4.8 billion US dollar. So there was another, of course, and this is customary, there was a mention of Taiwan as well. And this year, the NPC dropped the report dropped the mention of the peaceful reunification of Taiwan. It signals a persistent adherence to a tougher stance and continued rhetoric on Taiwan. This is not something that's new, but what we are seeing is that China is becoming more and more assertive and aggressive on Taiwan. And Taiwan has always been an important customary topic during the NPC, not just during the NPC, but during all the addresses by the Chinese leadership and officials. So this actually reflects the centrality of Taiwan during the two sessions as well. And in terms of foreign policy, the usual rhetoric centered around concepts like win-win cooperation, and this was, as always, reiterated frequently. Then, despite escalating tensions in the South China Sea, the emphasis remained on downplaying conflicts with neighboring countries. So here the objective has been to portray China as adept at managing external relations despite differences, despite existing disparities. But the reality seems very different from what China has been portraying itself to be and from its stated policies as well. Then there was also a mention of the Belt and Road Initiative, which underscores that Beijing is committed to keep pushing for the initiative. And particularly noteworthy since the onset of the pandemic is the focus on smaller and friendly countries as target countries for its foreign policy, external relationship, as well as the Belt and Road Initiative. Then China has also increased funding for its diplomatic endeavors by 6.6%. Although the specific allocations were not really mentioned, but it seems that it will be directed in furthering its checkbook diplomacy. Then additionally, there was a subtle reference to the US. with China advocating for its own version of a multipolar world. And it also expressed opposition to the Western bullying and hegemony. Then, all in all, the major and primary focus is on addressing the sluggish economy and the decline in foreign direct investment. However, with this, there seems to be no compromise on defense spending as well. So, this also tells us there will be a continuation of assertive foreign policy, and the military aggression in the Indo Pacific will be continued. As always, there was also a lot of emphasis on Xi Jinping thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. So the dominance of Xi and his legacy is very evident, which also reaffirms that what we are witnessing is not merely the evolution of the People's Republic of China, the CCP legacy, but the embodiment of Xi's enduring influence and the perception of what we could now effectively we term as Xi's China. So, to conclude, I would say the proceedings of the two sessions indeed offer insights into China's future trajectory concerning its economic, foreign, and defense policies. So, this year, while acknowledging existing challenges, which is also very rare for the CCP leadership, the focus is also maintained on core issues such as Taiwan, South China Sea, and also attempting to reinforce its own dominance within the region as well as beyond the Indo-Pacific region. So economic challenges coupled with assertive foreign policy is something that we are going to witness, and is also something that is going to pose more and more challenges for China in times to come. But it is also evident that China's current policy lies in stabilizing its economy first and addressing the growing unemployment issue that has been faced by China.